Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I'm so excited to be here again um, to start a brand new, not just a podcast episode, but actually, I
Mhm.
would say a brand new chapter in my podcast journey. I've recently decided to make a big switch in naming my new podcast, The Art of Your Life. It is aligning not just with the coaching I've been doing, but also what I want to see and put out into this world. And I can't think of a better person to bring on to this start as Venus, who's someone who I've worked in my as coach this year, and I've had the privilege to see her grow, to enjoy her light, to see her creativity, to see her flourish. And I'm so excited to have you here today, Venus.
Thank you.
Yeah. So to start, would you like to share with our beautiful listeners who you are and what do you do?
Um, I am Venus. I'm a yoga instructor and I love all things holistic health. And I so I'm a yoga instructor and I love all things holistic health. But I recently this year, I just started, posting more videos and just like starting my own YouTube channel and just content on my own channel. But my end goal, I also want to kind of spread like positivity and share all these things I learned about holistic health in terms of how health should be holistic, with your mental, with your physical, with your nutrition and basically and also aligning with your just like kind of life purpose or just like overall goal that you want to achieve. To me, I think holistic health is so important, and that's why I also want to share to the world how it helped me align my goal and just with like this whole life that I want to pursue doing this direction.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so this is something I do want to share with the world, but I think I know I want to share this positivity or share how I learn about holistic health to the world, but I don't know how to start. And that is also why I know that I had to, I wanted Andrew's help with coaching and helping me start to get the momentum going because I feel like starting is the hardest. And it really took me a long time to even just start and to
Hmm.
even like figure out how am I gonna start to on this journey.
Yeah.
Oh my God, long story short, I am, a content creator who wants to share positivity to the world.
Yeah. I love that. And I want us to time travel back a little bit to the April, right? When
Mhm.
we just started working together. And I remember even in our first call, I remember hearing you describe this vision you have yourself. And what was very evident was that you had so much joy, so much energy, so much
Yeah.
love, honestly, and creativity that you just it's just you're dying to like really express that to the world, right?
Yeah.
And also you had some standards around how you want them to look. You
Yes.
know, what was that version of you like, and what was she particularly struggling?
hmm So I think when I first started in April, I didn't realize I am a little bit of a perfectionist in my heart. And it sounded really easy and it sounded really simple that, okay, I want to create content and just like share all these things that I want to learn. But then once I started doing it, I realized, first of all, I have to get over getting like, the fear of just looking at myself or just feeling cringe at myself. And that was like, that I didn't expect that to be one of the challenges. And also, when I started editing my first few videos, my perfectionism comes in, and that takes me a long time to finish one thing because, I don't have like a SOP to my videos or like to my editing process. So everything is just like all these problems just coming out to stop me getting to my next step.
Hmm.
And I feel like in April when we worked together, I feel like even these things is sometimes hard to figure out by yourself unless you're like actively journaling. So I think, in April, I was able to have a space to share, just to like talk about what I'm going through inside my head. And then, with your help, you are just like listening and kind of like structuring my mind and like reflecting back at me. And I feel like this itself is like very helpful because it helps me structure my mind better. So
Mm.
especially when I was starting in April, like my mind was everywhere. Like it was like, oh my God, there's so many things I want to do, but then like I don't have time. Like I want to do everything, and then like I'm worried about this thing, I'm worried about that thing. Like there's so many things inside my head. But I didn't, yeah, I feel like with coaching in April, like I've every time after our coaching session, I feel way like my mind is like simplified a little bit. I'm like, okay, now I know like these are the few things I can set to kind of start, like the first few steps, like what should I start, and then get less intimidating by all these things I want to do in my head.
Mm. Yeah. It's been a really it's been really privileged seeing that journey as well. I still remember, early on how like you were saying about that perfectionist voice, like
Mm-hmm.
how I think it was surprising initially to me, but also to you that like how loud
Yeah.
actually she tended to be.
Yes.
Because one thing I think we talked about was like there were certain things about how you show up that like she actually isn't, it's quite subtle,
Mm-hmm.
but when you were creating the content it sounded like she did was making it very difficult for you to
Yeah.
get it out there. And one thing I'm curious about is throughout the coaching, how have you noticed that voice shifted, your relationship to that voice? What was that like?
I think I remember one time you suggest me to kind of just to when that voice is coming or when I'm getting stuck, because that was one of the first, like a lot of the big challenges I have is to get stuck at, let's just say, editing or like creating something in the middle. And then I just get so frustrated, I just like leave. When I used to feel that way, I think you suggested to just like take a little breather and just like kind of feel like these judgment at myself, is it coming from like which part of the body? To me,
Mm,
like for me, because I'm like a yoga instructor, so for me I see it as like a chakra, like like an energy within like different types of your body. And I think like when it comes from like, if it comes from like the heart, or like, if I really like, if it comes from the heart, that means like, okay, maybe I should actually change it. But if it comes from, just like a place of like more anxiety, but that is a feeling, it's kind of hard to explain. But if it comes from, I think like a place that is like not natural, I would say, like when you take a step back, like when I feel that this judgment is just a very loud voice with no respect or in my heart, like then I should not listen to harsh voice. But usually I think that really helps when I just like calm down for a second and kind of like take a breather and listen, like, okay, is this actually bothering me, or am I just like over kind of like being critical right now in the head? Yeah.
mm,
And I think that helps me. And also one thing I just develop by my, like, as I'm editing, it's just I just skip and then just move on to the next one first and then come back to it, the next day or something, so I have like a whole new perspective on it. Then I can determine like the voice more precisely. Like I know, okay, yesterday I was just being very critical, today I'm like, okay, it's not even a big of a deal. Yeah, so I think that really helped me to get unstuck
mm,
with like my editing process.
mm. And what happened when you started to, well, one, able to observe and see the voice and if you, like you said, even identify her in the body. And what happened when you finally gave it some space to not just hear, but also quiet it so that you can allow other parts of you to drive? What what happened to your creative process when you gave yourself permission to do that?
I think when I take a step back and really feel like the body, like I feel like my whole like vibe calmed down a lot, and I was able to see clearly better of like what is the end goal of this video or like this thing I'm doing. Like I'm able to see things clearly and make decisions based on like what is happening, but instead of like what's going on with like the inner voice. And I think, I was able to kind of just like, yeah, see things clear and like become calmer in terms of
Hmm.
like these little conflict I have in my head.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the end goal for these videos? Especially now that things seems to be clearer, you also have
Mhm.
found it easier to get things out. What
Yeah.
emerges from that?
I think the end goal right now is like, you know, the the end goal is what I want to share. Like the content I want to create is to hopefully end goal to hopefully inspire positivity or, you know, talk about something along the lines of holistic health. And that
Hmm.
is the end goal. Like I wish my video comes out this way. But right now, currently, like I'm not there yet. It's more like if I can just finish a video, I think that is my goal right now already. Like I'm just
Hmm.
practicing getting like the momentum of creating a video. So I think right now the goal is to finish a video that is watchable and like the pace is all right and everything. So when the critical mind, let's say when the critical mind comes to be like, oh my God, this part is like ugly, like I don't like how I look. But sometimes it doesn't really matter how I look because no one's gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's so ugly here. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna like, I mean, if they just like either they watch the video or they don't watch the video, and when they watch the video, no one's gonna care about like, okay, well, like,
Hmm.
but I definitely, that is something I want to work on in terms of like, okay, like the whole quality of the video, but that is like later on. Right now, my goal is to focus on finishing a video because tomorrow I got to do another video. So if I get stuck, then like I'm gonna get stuck the whole week, and
Hmm.
I don't want that. So yeah, so I think right now, you know, through practice and everything, like I realize momentum and just finishing what I have in front of me is more important than kind of like making this video perfect, And
Yeah.
like a video can never be perfect because you can edit to, you know, to the end of the world and it's still not perfect. But
Yeah.
yeah.
A video can never be perfect.
Yeah.
Not very, very true words.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really curious as you learn to dance with this inner critic more, able to see her, and sometimes we joke that like sometimes you'll kind of sass with her, right? Just be able to like
Mhm.
really have dialogue with her. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Does it has it also impacted other areas of your life where you notice how she comes out as well,
Like the sassy one.
or like the more critical one?
Okay, okay. Yes. I
Mm,
think, okay, another thing, one thing like I recently started dancing again. I used to love, I mean, I love dancing,
mm,
but I stopped for a long time because I always feel like this is one of like my biggest, like when my critical self come out the most, although it's like one of my favorite things to do is to dance. Like whenever I used to go to a dance class or whatever, like my anxiety takes over everything. I can't even focus on kind of like learning the choreo or whatever, or like just like dancing, but it's like, oh my God, like I look so bad right now and stuff like that. And like this year, I recently took a few dance classes and I feel a big difference that I feel like my skill of like kind of like communicating with the critical self is getting better because I
mm,
realize like when I'm dancing, like I used to feel so like self-critical and very like like shy about my dancing. But now it's like I'm able to know what the purpose of me going to the studio is to enjoy dance. So I will not compare myself to like the other like pro dancers or like people who dance better than me. Like I'm just focusing on myself, and like I try my best to learn the dance again. And I think first, like I enjoy dancing way more, and I feel like it's, yeah, and I feel like this like really strengthen the practice of that, like communicating with the with my critical self. I think that is a really, really big thing, because dancing for me is it's always like one of my biggest thing that I want to conquer. And it's still not 100% like there yet, because I still struggle a lot. But I think this is like the most visual thing that I can see that, I'm using in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because even though we have talked a bit about multiple things, I think even hearing that was unsurprising, but so surprising to me.
Mm,
Because when I see you, already see such a talented dancer. Obviously,
thank you.
dancing can span across a lot of different styles and categories. And I know
Yeah.
just seeing you on dance floor and your voguing, even seeing your moves, I always actually
Yeah.
feel really inspired by the boldness and how it's being expressed. And
Hmm.
it's surprising and not surprising to hear how that there's sometimes still like anxiety behind,
Yeah.
especially other
Yeah.
dances.
There's
So
definitely anxiety,
yeah.
like for me, like,
Hmm.
and I think it's a good thing that um because I do find a lot of people get surprised by it. And I'm like, okay, I guess
Hmm.
it's good that, they don't see it, but it's definitely there 100%. Like it's so there. And like, yeah, even like my sister gets shocked sometimes, like when actually I'm like, oh my God, like I look so bad there. And they're like, what the you don't look bad, blah, blah, blah. And then I do, and it sounds like funny, but I really do need her to tell me I don't look bad. I'm like, wait, I guess I don't. But sometimes I really don't see it, because in my head, maybe that is the perfectionism person coming out or whatever. But like, because maybe in my head, like my goal is like that pro dancer or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm nowhere near her. Like I suck. Oh my God, what? Like, but so and this is like something I recently, or like right now I'm talking to you, I'm realizing, because I'm even like kind of like confused, like why I have that, because I'm always like asking my sister like, oh, like look how I dance in this video, and she's like, oh my God, so good. I'm like, what? It's not even good. And then yeah, so I'm just like I do need to like learn to not com I guess compare to others when it comes to dancing or whatever thing, because like no one, I need to remind myself that no one even knows who I'm comparing myself, like, like
Hmm.
what's the standard there. So yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I actually started this podcast, someone gave me a really good recommendation, which is like when I started, it's very common to like start comparing like, oh, do I have the perfect setup? Sometimes when we think of podcasts,
Yeah.
I have a nice studio,
Hmm.
maybe even like lighting. That's one already, but also obviously the quality of the questions, and we naturally would think of maybe some of the biggest podcasters, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But I remember this fellow podcaster friend gave me a really good suggestion. We're like, hey, why don't you go to the podcaster you admire and go to their first video and compare
Hmm.
yourself to that.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
remember
Exactly.
that was such a game changer because we sometimes
Yeah.
forget that we're already comparing with somebody who's maybe
That
put
is
in a
so
lot of practice,
established.
right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I
I mean,
love
it's a
that.
good thing to aim high, but
Yeah.
like it cannot stop you from like finishing what you're doing right now. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what has it felt like to? Because I can imagine when you slowly quiet that voice of the perfection, the more critical, that you can feel less shameful and less guilty about things. So what has it been like to do that and embrace, I guess, more of the bonus that you know you already have?
Like to quiet, like how does it feel to practice this like in real life? I think I definitely feel way more because I always think of my whole body and me, like my human flesh, as like a machine, you know? And like the brain is like I don't know, like my me driving or something. And I do feel like since I can do that, like I feel like I'm managing my brain and my body and like the way I like act very like way smoother. So, I'm able to manage how I act as a person and just like how I do things as a person way smoother. And I feel like it gives me more confidence because I feel like way chiller in terms of like everything I do. Like I'm like, okay, like if I have some problem or like, anxiety or whatever that comes, I'm able to quickly, my muscle memory of like adjusting that is like getting smoother and quicker, and I'm able to make decisions or like act how I want it to be and more calmly. And I feel like it's gaining confidence for real for me. And yeah, and it's just like, to be honest, like a lot of things like go by way more smoothly,
Mm,
because I'm able to just like, yeah, I feel like I'm able to see things way clearer and like, do things just way smoother, you know?
mm.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just
What
like
are
smoothing out my life. And I like it. I like that.
yeah.
Like there's no little like frustration. Like there's less time with me getting stuck and just like, oh my God, like because I don't like to, like my personality is like I just want to have fun, and like the more brain power I use to have fun the better.
Mm,
So I don't want to like take up my brain power to like figure out all these like why am I like this. So I feel like this is a great practice, so I'm able to like have less time doing that. But if I do, I take the time to like journal or like really figure out what's going wrong, because I don't like to waste my time on like getting frustrated.
mm,
Like I want to like be able to find the answer to it like quicker and not just get stuck on like these energy, like that type of like anxiety or like, stuff like that. Yeah.
what are also some other wins this year that you feel particularly proud of at this moment?
I think this year
Yeah,
I am very proud of me for starting,
absolutely.
because the more I realized, because I was just like journaling, like, okay, what I did this year. Like, I think the start of this year, I had like a lot of like dreams or like things I want to do, like just like, oh my God, there's so many things I want to do. But I realized like I kind of like, even from like last year, I just feel like I'm hearing myself like talking a lot. And then like, but then like when I go home, I'm like, wait, there's nothing that I can really like say that I do. Like for example, like, last year I'm already have this idea that I want to try, creating content or like actually just simply documenting my life, because my brain is like a little goldfish. I forget everything. So I really want to like document every moment of my life. And I keep saying that, but I haven't done it until like, I think, well, last year I already done it, but I haven't like edited, haven't like make it into like a project or something. So this year I pull myself to like just start making one video. Like I think like I started doing one video each month, because it was still very, very hard for me to just even to edit a video, because I'm just like getting stuck left and right. But I think, that was the hardest part too. Like sometimes I will just do a video and then like I'm just like, oh my God, like I need to start another one and I don't want to do it anymore. Like I think keeping the momentum going is very, very hard. And I feel like, starting from 0 to 1 is the hardest thing ever, I think. And I think I'm still like 0 to 1 for sure. At least I like start from 0 to 0.3, or you know what I mean? Like I start to build the momentum. So I feel like this year, like looking back, I'm like, that was really hard because like it's so easy to like just be like, oh my God, I don't want to do it, you know? But I feel like because I just keep doing it, and also like sometimes anxiety helps because the anxiety comes in the back of my head when I'm just like chilling, and the anxiety comes be like, what are you doing? You know? So I feel like sometimes like the anxiety is a good thing that comes when I think I'm getting better at like this doing distinguishing my anxiety voice. Like sometimes the anxiety comes at the right time and
Mm,
sometimes it's just like too much, you know? Like sometimes it's not it's not serving the purpose. So yeah, I think this year I would say I'm really proud of myself for embracing starting.
as you should.
Yeah.
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 One thing I found interesting about that reflection is that so for you, do you think you've haven't got from 0 to 1, or do you, like you said, like, or have you passed one already? What do you feel like?
Hello.
Hello, no, usual my time supervisors coming in to check in on how we're doing.
Cute. I think right now I would say it's like I'm at one,
I see.
but like the end number is like 1,000, you know? Like I'm like at one, yes, but like I still feel because I'm at one because I feel like uh I was so not familiar with like the editing program and everything. Like I learned everything new, and I feel like when I started, it's like, oh my God, like where's everything? I needed, understand how the software, how the software is like how the software works. But now I think I learn all the technical stuff now, so it's like getting better. I can kind of like think about how to compose like whatever I want to do like faster. So I would say maybe yes, like I'm at one right now, but 0 to 1 I think took me really long
Mm,
because not like like I said, I when I was journaling I realized like last year, like I just like keep hearing my voice saying that I want to do all these things, but like I haven't done anything. Like I just say it out loud, but I don't do it. And I think this year is when I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of my own voice, like just saying things. And like
mm,
I just yeah. But I think that was really hard for me. Like it took me a long time to actually get going.
yeah. If you were to take a few hot seconds to check in on the voice who wanted to do those so many things,
Hmm.
and you sharing that you got to start and do those things, how is she feeling right now? What does she think about you getting from 0 to 1?
You mean like the one the
The
me
the me that wants
that
to do
has
so many things, just like that keeps talking, wanting to do all those things. Right?
yeah. I feel like I would tell her to, I will ask her, what is the first thing you want to do? And she's gonna be like, oh my God, A, B, C, D. And I'm like, okay, A, B, C, D, pick one. I'm like, okay, B. So then I will be like, okay, B, like, don't even plan too much about it because she's gonna be so overwhelmed. So I would just say, do B, but just like film, period. And like, it's gonna be so bad, but just do it and just do it, and then you can decide if you want to put it out or not, but just like film it. And then it's going to look so bad, like she has to know it's going to look very bad, or like it's not going to meet her the standard that she has in her mind, but just do it. And then like the second thing you want to do the same thing, but you know fine tune it a little bit more. And then the third one, do that. And then if that meets your standard, then like put it out like that. So I feel like the starting is very abstract because there's actually a lot of different step inside the starting that I didn't realize that I need to fight myself to starting. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Thanks for walking me through. I didn't even know how, because I know we talked about the output, like how to get, we talked about the editing a lot. We talked about consistency a lot. And we obviously talking about just like putting it out there. But
Mm,
I don't think it was until now that I can hear very viscerally what about the starting was challenging and the different
hmm.
stages that chart that and that you had to
Yeah, there's
navigate.
so many different stages.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a listener out there who's listening to this and do struggle with the 0 to 1 problem starting, what's a little love or advice or tip you want to give to him or her?
I would say, like, just think about why you want to start, because you want to start because you do have this message you want to share, and it is fun for you because that's why you want to like choose to do this as your job or whatever you want to do. So this is already done because you know this is what you want to do. So the next step is starting. But starting, don't put too much pressure because you're gonna live this life, you know, doing this thing. So you have to take baby step because then like for me personally, like I don't like something that is boring, you know, so I need to make it fun for me or else I won't do it. So for me, it's like the first step, you have to give yourself no judgment. Like your judgment level should be only at turn like 20%. And just do the first step, film it or something. But like if you don't want to edit it, it's fine. Just keep it in your save. But just like film it. And like as you're filming it, you will have a lot of different ideas coming out. So then you can write them down, and then like if the next one you want to add them to your next one, you can. But I think the first one is just to like knock yourself out and just like shut up brain and just film it, and then be like, okay, put it on the side, and then like I don't know, go take a little walk and then come back and be like, okay, let me look at this. Yeah, and then if it's like so crazy and you're just like, oh my God, fuck, this is crazy, shut it. Tomorrow again, do it, and then like look at it and be like, fuck, I look
Mm,
ugly. It's okay, shut it. Like, you know, the same thing, but like it's just you need to like stimulate your heart. Be like, oh my gosh, that was so ugly, so uncomfortable, but it's okay. Let me try it again. You know, like keep
mm,
this like little stimulation inside your heart. Like, oh my gosh, so uncomfortable, but I kind of like it, but so uncomfortable, like that. You know, and then like keep coming back, and then one day you're gonna just be like, okay, I kind of know, you know, I can like I'm ready to like publish or like fine tune this first thing, this first project, and just put it out there. Don't share it to on anybody because you don't ask too much judgment, because I think the first project you put out, like you will wish that a lot of people give you pointers, but I feel like you will already be your biggest critics,
mm-hmm.
so you don't really need other people's pointers until maybe like later on. Yeah, because like
Mm,
if they give you pointers, you probably will not be capable of adjusting it yet because you're not used to it yet. Like you're not at the capacity to adjust yet. Maybe like 5 videos later, then you can. Yeah. So I would say, sorry, to summarize this, just feel the uncomfortableness in your heart and do it, but like don't share it to other people because you're not ready for the criticism yet. But like just know that you're training your feeling of feeling uncomfortable, like
mm.
that.
It brings me beyond pride and joy to obviously hear you celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
Now, literally like dissecting what you've been going through this year and sharing out and hopefully passing on, right? To those words. That was really beautiful. What's having started already, having made that leap to swim through that discomfort? What are some intentions that you're excited to step into in the upcoming year?
Tensions. I think kind of like now that I am familiar and like getting better at just creating a video, period, like, to watchable video. Then I want to start to cater my direction towards what I said I wanted to do, because the intention was to share, you know, holistic health, because I do have a lot of passion in Ayurveda, which is like the ancient Indian health wisdom system. And I do see how we really, at the end of the day, how everything is super connected. Like basically the idea of how everything is so connected, but we just don't see it and feel it in our everyday lives. And this is something I want to show through my content, but it's kind of an abstract idea to show. But that is something I want to remind people that, also remind myself, because it's a really easy thing to forget, that how everything is connected in terms of everything, literally everything. So what that means is like what we do and what we put out in the world, what we do every day is just like impacting your own life, because it always comes back, in that sense. So that's a very like big and abstract concept, but that is something I wanted to put out to the world. And
Mm,
for me now, I'm just, my content is just like my life, just like my everyday life. And I kind of just like film it and like make it a video. But it doesn't necessarily always meet my goal, like some of my video is simply just like me eating or something. And sometimes it's not aligning, or maybe it is aligning, but it's not like in an obvious way that is aligning to what I want to share to the world.
mm,
But yeah, so this year I think, or 2025, I would love to do more content that is more in that direction. And that in itself, it's hard already, because it to share that idea but also make a watchable video is like another challenge, I think.
mm,
Because I did like maybe try like to do a video, I don't know, talking video or something. But like sometimes talking, like no one wants boring stuff. So I feel like I wouldn't even watch it, because I'm like, oh my God, I can just read it. But I don't know. Or maybe like that's my self-critical mind coming out. But I do want to like kind of show my channel is about in a more obvious way. Yeah.
mm. For people who want to check out more of your stuff in the upcoming year, to follow your journey, where should they go? Where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Venus Zan. So VenusXan. Not a lot of people follow me, so it's gonna be a little hard to find, but just like try to find it. It's like on there. YouTube. And you can also follow me on Instagram, which I post shorts, like, reels sometimes. And yeah, and that's it for now. That's the YouTube and Instagram.
So like, and I'll definitely make sure I include the links below for anybody who wants
Yeah.
to, who kind of remember the URL exact just now. You can find it below.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, Venus, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure witnessing you, and be able to be on this co-created journey with you. And
Mhm.
I also really appreciate you taking some time to share your takeaways, share your ups and downs, and share just all the things that you've learned. So thank you. No
Yes, this was fun. Thank you so much.
problem.